Hello and welcome back. In this video, I want to talk about the tools that we need to start working with the Python in our computer. Indeed, if you want to work with the Python, you need two main tools. First, the engine of the Python or interpreter or the compiler of the Python. Then we need to use the text editor. In this video, I want to talk more about these concepts and tools. Then in my upcoming tutorial, I'll talk about how to easily download and install these tools. Indeed, during this topic, you're going to learn many great tips and tricks to start working with the Python. So let's begin. Hello and welcome. In this video, I want to talk about what do we need to start working with the Python programming. So let's begin. If you want to start working with the Python, we need two main components or the tools. First, we need to download and install the Python engine, and it is responsible for running the Python codes everywhere on your operating system. Then we need the code editor. The code editor is the software that we can use it for writing the Python code and developing our software in the Python. So first we need the Python engine or the Python interpreter or the Python compiler. And what about the code editor? If you open up the Google and search the Python code editor, there is tons of different applications and the websites that are the Python code editor. In this example, I don't want to talk about everything and just I want to show you the most common code editors for the Python. At the top, we have the Pycharm. The Pycharm is available on the Windows, Mac, and the Linux. So the different programmers with the different platforms can be work with the Pycharm and develop the Python codes and the applications. And indeed, the Pycharm is the most common between the programmers. Then I have the idle. The idle is the default and simple editor that will be installed during installation of the Python engine. And we can start working with the Python using the idle, but the idle is not really a great idea and hasn't a lot of tools and features for Python programming. Then we have the Visual Studio 2019 and it's available on the Windows and the Mac operating systems. But we can use the Visual Studio on the Linux, and this is really annoying matter. And the Visual Studio has a lot of tools and features for working with the Python and developing the beginners up to the professional and enterprise application with the Python. And this is my favorite one in the out world. Why? Because currently I'm working on the Windows and it's great for the Mac, but we can't use it unfortunately on the Linux. And after that, I have the Visual Studio Code. The Visual Studio Code is available on the Windows, Mac, and the Linux. And the Visual Studio indeed is the light version of the Visual Studio 2019. The Visual Studio Code is fast and easy to learn, but it hasn't a lot of tools and features like the Pycharm. And finally, I have the online editor or the compiler or the interpreter. If you open up the Google and search the Python online editor, then there is tons of the websites that you can open up and start working with the Python without any installation of the Python engine and code editor. Indeed, you can write your codes in the online websites and check your learning. The online editors are great only for learning, not creating the professional or enterprise applications. So what about my favorite one? Indeed, the Pycharm is the most common editor and the most famous editor between the Python programmers because it has many great features and tools, and also we can work with it on the different operating systems like the Windows, Mac, and the Linux. And after that, we can start working with the Visual Studio 2019 if we want to work on the Windows and Mac. My favorite one in the real world is the Visual Studio 2019 because fortunately I'm working with the Windows. But if you want to work with the Linux, you can't use this option. So if you want to have the code editor that can be installed on the different operating systems with many great tools and features, then the Pycharm is great for you. And if you are like me, the Visual Studio programmer, then the Visual Studio 2019 is great for you. In this tutorial, I'm going to talk about how to work with the Python in the Pycharm. So this tutorial is based on the Pycharm because of the many great tools and features in the Pycharm for working with the Python, and this fact that the Pycharm is especially developed for working with the Python. Now let's take a quick review of the Python programming. First, we need to download, install the Python engine or the compiler and interpreter. Then we need to download, install the code editor. In this tutorial, it is the Pycharm. In my upcoming tutorial, I'll talk about how to download, install everything you need to start working with the Pycharm. So if you want to be great and amazing Python programmer, don't hesitate to join me. Thanks for your time.